Welcome to Alfa Laval podcast. Sustainability is no more a buzzword. We have been seeing industry, academia, institution, government of India at every layer, sustainability is getting discussed. Climate change, decarbonization, CO2 footprint in the industry is the point of discussion everywhere. What we have been covering on the global forums and platform. On this pioneering positive impact podcast series, we have Dr. Priya from PKC with us. She don't require introduction. PKC is doing excellent work in decarbonization and sustainability. Maybe I'll request Dr. Priya to introduce her and PKC.
Thank you, Mr. Suryavanshi. I would also like to thank Alfa Laval for hosting me on this platform and giving me an opportunity to talk about Pune Knowledge Cluster. I'm Dr. Priya Nagaraj and I'm the CEO of Pune Knowledge Cluster. I will take a few minutes to introduce clusters and ourselves. So Science and Technology Clusters or City Knowledge and Innovation Clusters are the initiative of the Office of the Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India. The Pune Knowledge Cluster was the first to be set up 5 years ago. Today we have 8 knowledge clusters across the country. Collectively, we serve as an enabling platform for the industry, R&D organizations, academia, government and the community to collaborate and synergize their efforts to solve regional problems leveraging science and technology and highly skilled human resources. We have been set up with the larger vision of transformational change and accelerating the science, technology and innovation ecosystem in the country.
The world is chasing on net zero race, carbon neutrality, reducing CO2 emissions from scope 1, scope 2 and scope 3. Wherein energy efficiency is the first fuel for decarbonized future. Can you brief us about the role of science and technology clusters and exactly purpose for this industry?
So I would like to highlight how clusters work in the sustainability space and also how we work with various types of organizations and give you a few examples of some of the sustainability programs across various clusters. So firstly, because we are this multi-stakeholder platform, we are able to work at the intersection of research, innovation and policy. We are able to understand perspectives from multiple types of stakeholders, understand knowledge gaps and bridge them. And we are also able to convert a lot of the cutting edge science that happens within institutions into practical on-ground solutions that are regionally relevant and nationally scalable. The other element of a cluster approach is that we are able to assess the readiness and maturity of an ecosystem to deploy and develop new types of solutions. And this is very important to understand the willingness to adopt new solutions. And this is especially useful at the national, state or the national level when we are trying to develop sectoral roadmaps, to develop mission programs, roll out mission programs and also implement these programs with a regional context. To give you a few examples of areas of sustainability that we work in, I will start with PKC. We work in the areas of water, waste and energy. Our programs largely across these areas focus on piloting and testing new types of scientific methods and technologies, on piloting models or frameworks for decentralized management of water and waste, and also creating value chains for some of the new emerging green energy sectors. The Hyderabad Knowledge Cluster, also known as RICH, works in the space of greening MSMEs. They work with over 2,000 MSMEs to help them adopt clean energy practices, clean technologies, and they also work with many R&D centers of excellences in the country for e-waste recycling, material recovery and circularity. The Bhubaneswar Knowledge Cluster works a lot in the blue economy space and they work on supporting innovations for marine sustainability. They also work very closely with their state forest departments to enhance livelihoods and also enhance the value of downstream forest-linked products. The northern cluster in India, which is called PI Rahi, which is based in Chandigarh, works very actively in agriculture and secondary agriculture. They support startups, largely working in the agri-biomass space with supply chain, creating value from waste. And they also are setting up a center to serve the industry of that region with respect to their decarbonization needs. So as you can see, the kind of work that each cluster does is very regionally contextualized, but is also collectively relevant at the national scale. We are all trying to solve problems which bring together various stakeholders, where there is their representation from the stakeholders, but they also derive value from what we do.
We as an organization, Alfa Laval, sustainability, so caring, committed, climate, circularity, then implementing energy efficiency, circularity. So all sustainability aspect we have been promoting and helping industry to ensure that they also meet their sustainability goals. And when it comes to sustainability, we would like to ask you what role these science and technology clusters are playing in advancing sustainability at regional and national levels.
So, I think we did speak about the initiatives of the clusters, right? And all of these initiatives have a regional context, but a lot of these are also relevant to other regions of India in terms of, whether these solutions can be piloted regionally and then scaled nationally. What I would like to highlight is our approach to problem solving, which is very relevant in complex sectors like sustainability, especially when many stakeholders are involved. So one element that I would think is very unique to the way we approach a situation or way we approach problems is that we are able to look at problems and solutions through a very integrated lens. We spend a lot of time in defining problems and also identifying problems. This involves convenings with several stakeholders where people come from different organizations with different perspectives, different expertise, and they're able to sit across a table that we are able to provide as a neutral convening platform, and they're able to brainstorm and share ideas on how they would like to see these problems addressed. We are also able to bring solutions again in a very integrated form as toolkits. So solutions are not always technology based solutions. Solutions can be at the policy level, can be at the community engagement level, can also be at the level of boosting fundamental R&D, basic R&D in the country. And because we interact with so many stakeholders and they're willing to come and share their views on this platform, it is very easy for us to also identify how solutions should be structured or strategized so that tomorrow you have an integrated solution toolkit for this problem. So to give you an example, I will take the work that we are doing in the water management and security space to tell you about a few initiatives and how they connect with each other. So firstly, on one hand, we have freshwater initiatives where we are looking to restore large water bodies such as rivers, using nature-based solutions and technologies that have been developed by R&D institutions, startups and industries. This is scale, in terms of scale, this is large. In terms of complexity, it is large. We work with NGOs, we work with industries, we work with R&D institutions and entrepreneurs to solve a problem like this or to address a problem like this, and of course the government, because the government's endorsement is very important to work in such areas. At the same time, we are also looking at wastewater. We are looking at exploring commercial use cases for wastewater for various industries and with various industries. As we know, the government at various levels mandates reuse of treated wastewater maximally as much as possible, and in Maharashtra my understanding is that that mandate is 100% reuse of treated wastewater in industrial zones and in construction. But in reality, we haven't been able to build commercial models for using treated wastewater, and this is something that we are working with industries to explore in terms of what would be those use cases in the near future and what would be the infrastructural, policy and community changes that we will need to see for that to happen. In the water space, we are also looking at policy advocacy, where we want to come up with a pricing model for water. Because today in many cities, we have, as citizens, we have begun paying for water, or we will begin paying for water. And it is important to understand how pricing for water can be structured. This involves understanding whether the community is willing to pay for water, what is the extent of willingness, what would look like equitable pricing, and what would different aspects or different stakeholders in the community like to pay for water. And the idea is to build this model which can be used in other cities. We also have international collaborations. For example, we work with a Danish water cluster called Water Valley Denmark, where we want to see whether global solutions can be adopted and customized in the Indian context to solve problems in the water space. And finally, capacity building. We understand that building skills and building capacity at the ground level, in this case case to run and use STPs efficiently plays a very important role in how we also look at or address water issues. So as you can see, while we work in the water space, the way we approach problems is very integrated, and on the face of it, these solutions may not look very connected, but we understand where they converge, and we understand the potential of working on all of these not linearly, but in through an integrated approach, because then the solution eventually will be a holistic solution.
Priya, we as Alfa Laval produce millions of heat exchanger installed in variety of industries: food, dyes, pharmaceutical, chemicals, steel, tire, rubber, everywhere. And especially when it comes to hard to abate sector, it's completely different than the regular FMCG or any other sector. So how do you ensure the collaboration with hard to abate sector, and how that actually our audience would like to know how PKC actually collaborates with them, especially hard to abate sector?
Yeah. So, firstly, we don't view industries just as creators or beneficiaries of innovations. We believe that industries can co-develop solutions which are really relevant on ground. And clusters are able to provide a framework for industries to participate in creating these solutions. Industries are very strategic in their collaborations, and if they see value, they move fast, and they're also very committed. They want things done in a certain frame of time, and also they work in very competitive sectors. In hard to abate sectors where sustainability transition challenges are very complex, these types of frameworks where industries can participate and deliver with a sense of urgency, in the same time collaborate with other types of organizations, is something that clusters are able to provide. I will substantiate this with the example of the Pune Green Hydrogen Valley,
Exactly.
which the Pune Knowledge Cluster helped conceptualize. So this is a first of its kind initiative for the country, which was announced by the central government 3 years ago to help develop regional capabilities or strengthen regional capabilities in the green hydrogen space in the country. In Pune, PKC was the nodal organization that developed a framework through which the Pune Green Hydrogen Valley can be realized into a reality. For this, we spoke with a lot of industries, we held a lot of convenings, we mapped capabilities of different types of organizations for their hydrogen capabilities. We also identified off-takers who could off-take green hydrogen at a certain committed price, and we also identified technologies that could be piloted across in this hydrogen valley. So basically a hydrogen valley is a cluster of organizations that work in the hydrogen space, which demonstrate the entire value chain for green hydrogen, from production, storage, utilization and transport for green hydrogen in certain industry or for certain industry sectors. After many years of work, we were able to put together this framework, which was then crystallized in the form of a DPR, which was submitted to the government for approval. And this DPR essentially defines the role of various industries in this region, what they will do in the hydrogen valley, how they will contribute, and what would be the outcomes that we would see. I'm happy to say that this project has been sanctioned, and this project is a reality today for the city of Pune, and we are working in two industry sectors, the fine chemical industry and the automotive industry, both hard to abate sectors, and we have come up with a framework through which industries are able to pilot technologies along with R&D organizations, test for commercial and technical feasibility, and at the same time the government is able to support these initiatives with viability gap funding. So what I would like to highlight here is, of course, the initiative itself is very unique, but the framework that has been set up through which industries can engage in such purposes or in such projects is also new and can be now adopted to other sectors also.
Dr. Priya, a key element in bringing sustainable change is involvement of community. How do you inform, advocate these policies to the community?
So you're right that firstly, community engagement to bring about transformational change is not just important, it is absolutely essential. Unless communities understand, accept and co-own solutions, solutions do not sustain. They have to find value in the solutions that are meant to serve them. At PKC, community engagement has been a very centric part of most of our activities. In fact, it's a horizontal across many sectors and verticals that we work in. At a very high level, we do a lot of outreach. This is bridging really the gap between or making science accessible from various organizations to the community. So there's a lot of outreach, workshops, programs where a lot of new scientific ideas are made accessible to the public in a simple form through which they can understand. We also engage with over 400 schools in the Pune region, where we try to integrate within the curriculum understanding of real world problems and how what they are studying in schools is actually useful to solve some of these problems. We also work at the gender inclusion level in higher education, where we have programs to support women students to pursue research in chemistry and sustainability and also entrepreneurship. At the city level, we have a project with the Pune Metro, where we are trying to understand and increase the ridership on the Pune Metro, not just existing lines, but also the future lines that would come up. This requires, amongst many things, actively understanding how the community feels about public transport and what it would take to sometimes change community behavior if we want to see higher adoption. We also have a program with the Pune Municipal Corporation, where we work to build capacity amongst Safai Karamcharis, largely the informal sector in waste management, to make them aware and make them understand about best practices in waste management. We have an initiative where we work with industries as well as academic organizations who have large campuses to understand how to do simple carbon audits using their own students and staff, where the insights that come out of these audits can be used to deploy solutions, again very simple practical solutions, where they can decarbonize their campuses. So these are some examples through which we engage with the community, but community engagement, we believe, is very, very integral to solving sort of complex large problems, and we always have a seat at the table in our convenings, in our stakeholder meetings when we are ideating, for community representatives to also come and share their perspectives and views.
Well said, Priya. Circularity, the most important aspect for this industry. Tech, Mac, West, it is not at all okay, and industry don't want it to accept this anymore. Recycle, reduce, reuse are the way forward for a sustainable future. From PKC point of view, what are the big bets, what are the ideas you are more excited about sustainable ecosystem?
So I will speak about this from the in the innovation landscape, but from the ecosystem development point of view. We are seeing a very significant change in the way ecosystems are being built in the country today, especially in the science, technology and innovation space. And this is particularly exciting. We are seeing government schemes like the Anusandhan National Research Foundation, the Research Development and Innovation Fund from the central government, which aims to increase and support private sector participation in promoting interdisciplinary research aligned with national priorities. We are also seeing a big flux of CSR and philanthropic funding coming towards supporting R&D, startups, and in many ways scientific social responsibility in the community. This is a very exciting space to be in because we really believe that transformational change is possible only when multiple types of communities come together to work to solve problems, and this is happening today. Clusters are playing a very important role in orchestrating this change, in catalyzing this change. So it's a great time to be part of this change today in the country. And if you are an industry, you are an academic organization, or you are a policy maker, or even if you are a community leader or a representative, you know that there are forums like this which allow you to engage with other stakeholders, see common ground, see yourself in others, and also identify areas where you can come together to solve problems.
Well said, Priya. Partnership and collaboration are the way forward for a sustainable future. Very well said. Climate change is real. Sustainable development goal is the need of the day. The policies and the scenarios are forcing industries to work upon net zero. Now in India, Government of India and as a nation, India, our net zero is 2070. And energy independence here is to be set as 2047, on which this green economy is working very hard to create a sustainable future. We as an organization, Alfa Laval, my company's net zero is 2050, being a European company operating in India and many continents. Our carbon neutrality is 2027, which was earlier planned as 2030. Now this India's sustainability journey, how these clusters are playing pivotal, very important role in this journey. Please throw some light on this. And next 5 to 10 years, how these clusters are going to evolve in this Indian geography.
So thank you for that question. I think it is a very important question because I feel that clusters are integral to India's energy transition journey. Because we are these multi-stakeholder hubs for research, for innovation and for commercialization of new technologies, which is integral also for this energy transition journey to happen. There are a couple of areas that I would like to highlight where clusters can play a role of a catalyst. One, in accelerating innovation and R&D. We work, at least Pune Knowledge Cluster, we work with over 130 organizations across industry, academia, think tanks, NGOs and the government. And a lot of what is happening within these organizations need to be brought together and leveraged for policy making, for stimulating more R&D and also for really bringing about change in terms of on-ground solutions. This is something that the cluster can make happen. We can also work at the state as well as at the central policy level and regulatory decision making levels to ease compliances and also to help ensure that there are policies and regulations in place for these new innovations to actually see the day of light and this transition to become more efficient. Finally, we can also help foster global partnerships because as clusters, we work with many international clusters, many of them working in the clean energy and in the green energy space. And we are able to bring in a lot of those insights to India and customize it to the Indian context and learn from a lot of what's happening globally to again integrate into India's energy transition chain. So I believe that from various perspectives, clusters play this role of a hub for this particular journey. And this is an inclusive journey and we are able to bring along all these organizations as our partners to make this journey possible. To answer your question about where I see science and technology clusters evolve in the next 5 to 10 years, first of all, I must say that this is not a new initiative globally. This is a new initiative in India, but there are examples of science and technology clusters like ours in other parts of the world. The way I see them evolve is that clusters can transform into superclusters, which are niche, geography focused, sector focused, and very strategically contribute to the growth and development of certain sectors which are national as well as of global relevance. When clusters reach this stage, we can directly influence policy and markets and contribute to the socio-economic growth of not just regions but also the country. And there are many global examples to substantiate this, and I'm very confident that science and technology clusters will also in India reach this level where we are able to demonstrate specific sectoral strengths.
Thank you so much, Priya. It was excellent interacting with you and learning from you. Collaboration, partnerships, energy efficiency, circularity, working on this is the future in creating a sustainable world. Thank you so much for visiting Alfa Laval. Would you like to give some message to our audience in terms of, say, implementing energy efficiency, circularity, clean technologies? Some message for our audience?
So one thing that we have understood in working on complex problems with multiple stakeholders is that solutions for problems are not only technological, they are not only at the level of policy, but also requires very, very active participation from the community. As citizens, my message or my request is that we include ourselves in the solution. We are able to contribute to the solution. We are not just beneficiaries of the solution, and we take ownership for what we can do in solving problems. At the end of the day, we all live in this city, and we want cities to be clean, we want cities to be healthy, so that we have good and healthy lives in these cities. So yeah, my only request and message is that we solve problems collectively. We keep coming together, we keep agreeing to disagree, but we eventually find common ground through which we are able to solve problems sustainably.
Thank you so much. On behalf of Alfa Laval, thank you once again. It was nice interacting with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.